Hello everybody, welcome to jurycentral.com online classes for law exams. So today I will be discussing with you the noted cases on reservation policies of India which has been held by the Supreme Court, and this topic is very important for your upcoming LLM entrance examination. So let us see. So the first case is State of Kerala and others versus Lisamma Joseph, and this has been held in the month of June 2021. In this, the Supreme Court has held that persons with physical disabilities have right to reservation in promotions also. A two-judge bench comprising Justices Sanjay Kishan Kaul and R. Subhash Reddy held so dismissing an appeal filed by the State of Kerala against the judgment of the Kerala High Court. The Supreme Court said that the High Court judgment was salutary and didn't require any interference. Further, the Supreme Court directed the Kerala government to implement reservation in promotion for disabled within 3 months. The court ruled that a person with disabilities cannot be refused reservation in promotions in government jobs even if the person was not appointed under the disability quota. So according to this para, it means Supreme Court has said that if a person while joining the service was in reserved category and later becomes handicapped, then he shall also be eligible under PWD category. The bench followed a judgment delivered by a three-judge bench in January 2020 in the case of Siddha Raju versus State of Karnataka, which held that the rule of no reservation in promotions as laid down in Indira Sahni case has no application to persons with disability. In Siddha Raju, a bench comprising Justices R.F. Nariman, V. Rama Subramaniam and Anirudh Bose was considering a reference which doubted a view taken in Rajiv Kumar Gupta and others versus Union of India. The bench in Rajiv Gupta, in the context of persons with disabilities, equal opportunities, Protection of Rights and Full Participation Act 1995, had noted that there is no prohibition against reservation in promotion for persons with disabilities. The bench in Rajiv Gupta said that the principle is Indira Sahni and others versus Union of India and others against reservation in promotions will not extend to PWD. So in Indira Sahni versus Union of India, Supreme Court has clearly stated that the benefit of reservation is not applicable in matters of promotions, but this has been in this case it has been said that the rule of no promotion doesn't apply on a PWD candidate. In Siddha Raju, the three-judge bench upheld the view taken in Rajiv Gupta that persons with disability have right to promotion and reservation. So the issue of reservation to PWDs came in Rajiv Gupta's case, which was challenged in Siddha Raju, and the decision of Siddha Raju has been upheld by the Supreme Court in this case. So let us see the background. The state claimed that the beneficiary Lisamma Joseph had entered the state services as a typist in 1996 by way of compassionate appointment following the death of her brother during service. At the time of joining, Joseph suffered from post-polio residual paralysis, lower limb, and her permanent disability was assessed at 55%. However, since it was a case of compassionate appointment, she was hired under the general category and not as a disabled under the Existing Persons with Disabilities Act 1995. So this ground has been taken by the State of Kerala before the Supreme Court that the person was employed on a compassionate ground but not on the basis of reservation. So this is the reason why she is not qualified to get reservation benefit for PWDs. Then the next one is Umesh Singh P. Chawda versus Union of India and other. This is a 2020 case, and in this the Supreme Court has held that the reservation policy is not a fundamental right. In this case, the central government authorities decided that they do not give reservations to other backward classes. The validity of the impugned order was questioned under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. In other words, the writ petition was filed by the political parties of Tamil Nadu in the Supreme Court under Article 32 for this impugned order. Also, the petitioner contended that the fundamental rights of OBC candidates gets violated. So, under this petition, a notification of State of Tamil Nadu was challenged, in which the government decided that they will not give reservation to other backward classes. However, the Supreme Court of India held that the reservation is not a fundamental right, and hence this petition cannot be filed under Article 32, as Article 32 is available only for violation of fundamental right and reservation is not a fundamental right. Therefore, a three-judge bench led by Justice L.N. Rao ordered the petitioners to withdraw their petitions. Then the next one is State of Punjab versus Davinder Singh. So this case is actually still pending, but a very important case law in terms of sub-classification or sub-categorization of scheduled castes, which is not there at present times. But in this case, it has been challenged that there must be sub-classification or sub-categorization of scheduled castes, and so that the castes which are actually lying in the lowest level can get the same opportunity on par with other scheduled castes community. So the question before the Supreme Court is whether state legislation can give preferential treatment to specific castes within the scheduled castes. So let us see the background. So this was the issue. The current case arises out of the State of Punjab's appeal against a 2010 judgment by the Punjab and Haryana court. The High Court struck down Section 4 Clause 5 of the Punjab Scheduled Castes and Backward Classes Reservation in Services Act 2006 Hereafter Act as unconstitutional. Section 4 Clause 5 of the Act provides for a first preference to the Balmikis and Majbi Sikhs castes for scheduled caste reservation in public policy. So by this rule, actually the State of Punjab created a sub-classification among the scheduled castes. The High Court reasoned that Section 4 Clause 5 created an unconstitutional subdivision within the scheduled castes, citing the precedent established by E.V. Chinnaiya's case. So in E.V. Chinnaiya's case, it has been held that there shall be no sub-categorization or classification of scheduled castes, and the entire scheduled castes will be taken as a homogeneous community. The Supreme Court in E.V. Chinnaiya had established that any sub-classification of the scheduled castes would violate Article 14 of the Constitution. It had stressed that only Parliament, not state legislatures, can exclude castes deemed to be scheduled castes from the precedent list under Article 341. So in this case, it has also been said that only the President has the power to include or to exclude castes deemed to be scheduled castes under Article 341 and not the states. The State of Punjab has appealed the High Court's judgment on the ground that E.V. Chinnaiya doesn't apply to the current case. It claims that its legislature had the competence to enact Section 4 Clause 5 of the Act. In addition, it has raised the issue of whether 7-judge bench of the court needs to revisit Chinnaiya's case. So actually, E.V. Chinnaiya's case has been challenged, in which sub-categorization is prohibited. Over the course of 3 days, starting on 14 July 2020, Justice Arun Mishra's bench heard the counsel's present final arguments. In the first half of the final arguments, the bench heard the counsels offer different interpretation of the precedent set in E.V. Chinnaiya and Indira Sahni. In the second half, the counsels argued on the question of whether the current dispute should be referred to a larger bench, and on 27th of August, the 5-judge bench referred E.V. Chinnaiya to a larger bench. So in this case, a review has been requested in E.V. Chinnaiya's case, and this case has been referred to a larger bench to decide as to whether any sub-classification or sub-categorization shall be permitted under scheduled castes or not. Then the next one is very important case law. This is Jarnail Singh and others versus Lakshmi Narayan Gupta and others. This is a 2018 case, and this case is relating to reservation in promotion. A bench of justices Indu Malhotra, Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Rohinton Nariman, Curin Joseph and Deepak Mishra looked into whether reservation for SCs and STs should extend to promotions by assessing its 2006 Nagraj judgment. And the current issue arose from an appeal by the state of Tripura against a judgment on the Tripura High Court. The Tripura High Court has struck down Section 4 Clause 2 of the Tripura Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes reservation of vacancies in services and post acts as being violation of the 3 controlling conditions laid down in Nagraj. So now we will see what is the 3 conditions laid down in M. Nagraj's case, and that needs to be followed if a state wants to provide for reservation in promotion. So we will see now. The Nagraj judgment laid down 3 controlling conditions that the state must meet prior to granting a SC/ST reservation in promotion. First, the state must show the backwardness of the class. So it is compulsory to show the backwardness of the class. That means the state must collect quantifiable data to show that how many persons and what are the communities which are considered as backward. Second, it must show that the class is inadequately represented in the position of service for which reservation in promotion will be granted. It has also to be proved that the class which has been identified as backward, whether they are adequately represented or not. Or finally, it must show that the reservation are in the interest of administrative efficiency, and also it has to be shown that the reservations are actually in the interest of administrative efficiency. The division bench called on the Constitution to revisit Nagraj case. It observed that the bench in Nagraj had failed to refer to the earlier E.V. Chinnaiya's case. So in this case law, the request has been made to review the Nagraj's case. On 26th of September, the court delivered its verdict. It did not call for a review of Nagraj. Further, it struck down the demonstration of backwardness provisions from Nagraj. That means now a state doesn't have to collect quantifiable data to show the backwardness of a particular class. However, while doing so, it introduced the creamy layer exclusion principle. This is important. Till now, there was no creamy layer concept in SC/ST, but in this case, it has been observed by the Supreme Court that a creamy layer exclusion principle among the SC/ST is required, and also thus requiring that the state doesn't extend reservations in promotion to SC/ST individuals who belong to the creamy layer of the said SC/ST. And it has also been suggested by the Supreme Court that if a person who belongs from SC/ST and if he comes under the creamy layer category, then he shall not be offered promotion. Nevertheless, a judgment modified Nagraj with regards to further backwardness. In Nagraj, the Supreme Court has held that if the state chooses to grant reservations in promotion, the state must collect quantifiable data to demonstrate the current backwardness of the SC/ST been granting reservation in promotion. So it was actually necessary before this judgment, before the General Singh judgment for the state, if they wants to grant reservation, they need to identify the classes and has to collect the quantifiable data to demonstrate that what are the communities under SC/STs which are in the backward category. On further backwardness, the judgment held that the further backwardness condition is contrary to the 9-judge bench decision in Indira Sahni. Justice Nariman held that Indira Sahni doesn't allow for collection of quantifiable data. This is important. Indira Sahni's judgment, although it is decided in the year 1993, it doesn't speak anything about collection of quantifiable data before offering reservations. But M. Nagraj, which has been decided in the year 2006, says so that if a state wants to offer for reservation or grant reservation, it needs to collect the quantifiable data to demonstrate the backwardness of the SC/ST community. Then the next one is B.K. Pavitra versus Union of India 2. So in this case, consequential seniority in Karnataka rule was challenged. On 10th of May 2019, the Supreme Court upheld the validity of the 2018 Reservation Act that introduced consequential seniority for SC/STs in Karnataka public employment. So what is consequential seniority? Let us understand. Consequential seniority allows reserved category candidates to retain seniority over general category peers. If a reserved category candidate is promoted before a general category candidate because of reservation in promotion, then for subsequent promotion, the reserved category retains seniority. In effect, the consequential seniority undoes the catch-up rule that allowed general category candidates to catch up to reserved category candidates. So, in catch-up rule, what actually happens? Suppose if a reserved category gets promoted before any general category, then subsequently if the same general category candidate gets promoted, then he becomes a senior to the reserved category, but consequential seniority doesn't speak. So it actually undoes the effect of catch-up rule, in which it says that if the reserved category further gets promoted, then he will become senior to the general category peers. So the background: in an earlier judgment, B.K. Pavitra 1, this is the first case. This court struck down the Reservation Act 2002 on 22 March 2017. It held that the state had failed to provide compelling evidence justifying the consequential seniority policy. It granted the state of Karnataka 3 months to take further action. Following the decision, the state of Karnataka created the Ratna Prabha committee to submit a quantitative report demonstrating the 3 Nagraj criteria, like current backwardness of the SC/STs, cadre-wise representation of SC/STs in government departments, effect on administrative efficiency due to reservation in promotion. On the basis of the Ratna Prabha Committee report, Karnataka passed the 2018 Reservation Act. So earlier, Reservation Act of 2002 was struck down by the High Court, and later it modified and again passed a new law called, which is 2018 Reservation Act, based on the recommendation of the Ratna Prabha Committee. Section 3 of the 2018 Reservation Act provides for reservation in promotion, and Section 4 validates consequential seniority dated back to 24th of April 1978. So it actually gives a retrospective effect. The division bench of the Supreme Court, speaking through the Justice Chandrachud, upheld the Reservation Act 2018. The court did not look at the data backwardness because Jarnail Singh had removed that requirement. However, Jarnail Singh did not introduce the creamy layer exclusion principle. Did introduce the creamy layer exclusion principle. The committee had not collected creamy layer data. Given that the judgment came out after the report, nevertheless, the court upheld the Reservation Act 2018. So overall, the Supreme Court actually upheld the Reservation Act of 2018, which provides for consequential seniority. Although no data regarding creamy layer has been collected, but still the court upheld the Reservation Act of 2018. Justice Chandrachud reasoned that Jarnail Singh introduced the creamy layer principle for reservation in promotion and not for consequential seniority. Specifically, he held that consequential seniority is a consequence of reservation in promotion and not an additional benefit. Hence, he held that the creamy layer test could only be applied at the stage of reservation in promotion and not subsequently for consequential seniority. So, he actually made a difference. Like creamy layer concept has to be applied during the stage of reservation in promotion, but if subsequently if the person wants to get promoted, then it is not applied in cases of consequential seniority. Then the next one is Mukesh Kumar versus State of Karnataka. Is the 2020 judgment. In this, the Supreme Court held that state not bound to collect quantifiable data relating to adequacy of representation of SCs and STs if it decides to provide no reservation. So here it has been said that it is upon the discretion of the state to provide reservation or not, and the court cannot pass any mandamus directing the state to provide for reservation. So let us see. The bench of N. Nageshwara Rao and Hemant Gupta justices has held that no mandamus can be issued by the court to the state to collect quantifiable data relating to adequacy of representation of the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in public services. The court also held the court was hearing a matter where the decision of the Uttarakhand government had come under scanner, where it had decided that all posts in public services in the state shall be filled up without providing any reservation to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Because a notification has been issued by Uttarakhand government in which it decided that it will not provide any reservation to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in promotions in the post of assistant engineer in public works department. When the matter reached the High Court, it said that the state is not obligated to provide reservation in promotions to members of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, as Article 16 Clause 4A of the Constitution is an enabling provision. So Article 16 Clause 4A provides for a reservation in promotion, but it's an enabling provision. That means it is upon the discretion of the court whether to provide it or not. It, however, directed the state government to collect quantifiable data regarding the inadequacy of the representation of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in government services, which would enable the state government to take a considered decision on providing or not providing reservation. But it, however, directed the state to collect the quantifiable data of the SCs, STs in the state, so that it can come to a concrete decision as to whether they are willing to provide reservation or not. It further said that even if the underrepresentation of the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in public services is brought to the notice of this court, no mandamus can be issued by this court to the state government to provide reservation in light of the law laid down by this court in C.A. Rajendra versus Union of India, Suresh Chandra Gautam versus State of UP. So it said that the court doesn't have the power to issue mandamus to the state to provide reservation, and this has been held in the case of C.A. Rajendra versus Union of India and Suresh Chandra Gautam versus State of UP. Then M. Nagaraj versus Union of India. So it is decided in the year 2016 and it also deals with reservation in promotion. In 2006, the court delivered its judgment in M. Nagaraj versus Union of India. In it, the court validated Parliament decision to extend reservations for SCs and STs to include promotions. However, the court also laid down conditions which made it difficult for the central and state governments to grant such reservation. So, in this case, it has the decision of the state government to provide reservation in promotions for SC/STs has been upheld, but it actually laid down certain criteria on which the reservations shall be made. Specifically, the Nagaraj judgment laid down 3 controlling conditions that the state must meet prior to granting a SC/ST a reservation in promotion. First, the state must show the backwardness of the class. This is very important. Second, it must show that the class is inadequately represented in the position or service for which the reservations in promotion will be granted. And then finally, it must show that the reservations are in the interest of administrative efficiency. So if a state shows the reasons of all the conditions, then only the reservation will be held as valid. So the constitutional bench in Nagaraj validated the following constitutional amendments made by the parliament. So all these constitutional amendments have been held as constitutional amendments. All these constitutional amendments have been validated in M. Nagaraj case. The Constitution 77th Amendment Act 1995, which inserted Article 16(4)(a). So 16(4)(a). So remember all these amendments. The Constitution 81st Amendment Act 2000, which added 16(4)(b). Then the Constitution 82nd Amendment Act, which inserted a proviso to Article 335. The Constitution 85th Amendment Act 2001, which added consequential seniority in SCs and STs under Article 14b. So Article 14b was added by 81st Amendment Act, and in 85th Amendment Act, consequential seniority for SC/STs has been added. Parliament made these amendments to nullify the effect of the court's judgment in Indira Sahni's. In Indira Sahni, a 9-judge bench had ruled that reservation in appointments granted to the state by Article 16 Clause 4 do not apply to promotions. So in the Indira Sahni's case, it has been held that the reservations is only applicable in entry level, not in the matters of promotion. Article 16(4)(a) enables the state to make any law regarding reservation in promotion for SC/STs. Article 16(4)(b) provides that reserved promotion posts for SC/ST that remain unfilled can be carried forward to the subsequent year. So Article 16 Clause 4b actually provides for carry forward rule. So in a year, if the seats which have been provided for SC/ST community goes unfilled, then the remaining seats will be carried forward in the next year. Article 16(4)(b) also ensures that ceiling on the reservation quota capped at 50% by Indira Sahni for this carry forward unfilled post doesn't apply to subsequent years. So this is actually a major drawback of 16(4)(b) because it can breach the 50% quota ceiling which has been held or which has been prescribed by Indira Sahni's judgment. That means in a year the reservation can also breach the 50% ceiling because that is what is provided under Article 16(4)(b). Article 335 mandates that the reservations have to be balanced with the maintenance of efficiency. The 2001 amendment to Article 335 clarified that the article will not apply to the state relaxing evaluation standards in matters of promotion. Although 335 mandates that reservation has to be balanced with the maintenance of efficiency, but the 2001 amendment actually takes away this efficiency rule and says that even the state can relax evaluation standards in matters of promotion. The 5-judge bench upheld the constitutional validity of reservation in promotion to SCs and STs. It upheld the consequential seniority rule under Article 16(4)(a), the carry forward rule Article 16(4)(b), and the proviso to Article 335. So the consequential seniority rule and the carry forward rule has been upheld in this case, in M. Nagaraj's case. Then the next one is E.V. Chinnaiah versus State of Andhra Pradesh. It's a 2004 judgment in the case of E.B. Chinnaiya versus State of Andhra Pradesh, going against well-known and what would seem to be obvious wisdom. The Supreme Court held that the scheduled castes form one homogeneous group, and therefore any intersect classification within the scheduled castes would be a violation of Article 14. I have already told you about this case. So it actually considers the scheduled castes as one homogeneous group, and it prohibits any sub-classification or sub-categorization among the scheduled castes, and said that if it is done, then it is in violation of Article 14. The court was dealing with a law passed by the Andhra Pradesh government based on the report of the Justice Ramachandra Raju Commission, which recommended subdividing the scheduled castes into 4 groups and apportioning reservations separately for each. This was to ensure that all communities within the scheduled castes, particularly those that have been oppressed and marginalized the most historically and have been deprived of the opportunities of education and formal employment, receive adequate and equitable representation in educational institutions and state services. So in this case, the Andhra Pradesh the report of the Justice Ramachandra Raju Commission was challenged, in which it recommended of subdivision of the scheduled castes into 4 different groups, so that the marginalized ones get equal opportunity in education and formal employment. However, the court proceeded to strike down the law on the premise that the declaration as a caste as a scheduled caste in the presidential list issued under Article 341 meant that it became subsumed in the broad monolith and was to be treated at par with other scheduled castes for all purposes. So it actually upheld the Article 341, which gives the presidential power to declare a caste as a scheduled caste, but it is not the power of the state to further classify these castes in scheduled caste and scheduled tribe community. Then very important judgment, this is Indira Sahni versus Union of India. This is a 1993 judgment, and the author of the judgment is author B.J. Reddy. This case is also known as Mandal Commission, and this judgment has been delivered by a 9-judge bench of Supreme Court by a 6:3 majorities. And it held that the further subclassification between backward classes and more backward classes was justified under Article 16 Clause 4, but as a result of subclassification, the reservation cannot exceed 50% in total. So in this case, the case is relating to backward classes, and in this the Supreme Court is very clear that the backward class can further be subdivided into backward classes or more backward classes. But in case of SC/ST community, it is not permitted, because the entire community is taken as a homogeneous group. That means one group. Union government may reserve 27% of the government jobs for backward classes, provided that creamy layer socially advanced persons are eliminated from this reservation policy. The reservation policies are applicable only for the initial appointment for government jobs, not for further promotion. It held that Article 16 Clause 4 of the Constitution doesn't permit reservations in the matter of promotion, and also the seats reserved for jobs should not exceed 50%. So in Indira Sahni's judgment, it is very clear about the reservations in promotion. It said that it is only applicable at the stage of initial appointment, but not afterwards. And it also puts a ceiling of 50%, that the reservation for the jobs should not exceed the 50% ceiling. In M.R. Balaji versus the state of Mysore, a 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court talked about ensuring that reservation remained below 50%, which was overruled in Indira Sahni's judgment. In M.R. Balaji, it has been held that reservation shall be before total reservation shall be below 50% ceiling. But Indira Sahni's judgment overrules it and says that the total reservation quota shall not exceed the 50% ceiling. Then the next case is Union of India and others, etc. versus Virpal Singh Chauhan and Ajit Singh Januja and others versus State of Punjab and others. And in this case, a rule has been enunciated by the Supreme Court, also known as catch-up rule. Now we'll see what does it mean. After reservation in promotion was constitutionally recognized, It led to a situation where reserved category candidates who were promoted over general class counterparts became their senior due to earlier promotion. This anomaly was addressed by two judgments, Virpal Singh, which was held in the year 1995, and Ajit Singh case 1996, which introduced the concept of a catch-up rule. The rule held that senior general candidates who were promoted after SC/ST candidates would regain their seniority over general candidates promoted earlier. So catch-up rule, what catch-up rule actually means, now we'll see. Catch-up rule means that if a senior candidate of general category is promoted after SC/ST candidates, he would regain his seniority in promotion over the juniors promoted ahead of him under the reserved vacancies. So it says that suppose if there are two candidates, first is the general candidate and the second one is reserved candidate. And if the reserved candidate gets a promotion earlier than a general candidate, then if afterwards that general candidate gets promotion, then they actually become senior to that reserved category candidates. And to undo the effect, an amendment has been brought, which is known as 85th Amendment Act, and by which the government has actually undoes the effect of catch-up rule and inserted the provision of consequential seniority. The Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Indira Sahni and others versus Union of India and others, reported in 1992, held that Article 16 Clause 4 of the Constitution doesn't permit reservations in matters of promotion. So that's what has been said in this case. Thereafter, the Constitution 77th Act 1995 came into force on so date. Later on, the Honorable Supreme Court in the cases of Union of India and others versus Virpal Singh Chauhan and others, and Ajit Singh Januja and others versus State of Punjab and others, introduced the catch-up rule and held that if the senior general candidate is promoted, then he will regain his seniority on promotion post and over junior reserve promotees. It was also held that consequential seniority on promotion post is not covered by Article 16(4)(a). So it says that under Article 16(4)(a) there is no provision for consequential seniority. But to undo the effect of this case law, new amendment has been brought, which is known as 85th Amendment Act, and by which consequential seniority has been provided to the SC/ST candidates. Consequential seniority allows, now we'll see what does it mean. Consequential seniority allows reserved category candidates to retain seniority over general category peers. So it actually says that suppose if a reserved category candidate gets promoted, then he gets the seniority over his general category peers. If a reserved category candidate is promoted before a general category candidate because of reservation in promotion, then for subsequent promotion, the reserved category retains seniority. So after that subsequent promotion, he will retain the seniority over a reserved candidate. In effect, consequential seniority undoes the catch-up rule. Like I said, that allowed general category candidates to catch up to reserved category candidates. So there is no catch-up rule, and he immediately becomes senior to his general candidate. Then the next one is T. Devadasan versus Union of India, and this is a case which has been decided in the year 1964, and in this case Article 16(4)(b) was discussed, which says about carry forward, and in this case carry forward rule was overruled. Through 81st Amendment, the government introduced the Article 16(4)(b), which allowed reservation in promotion to breach the 50% ceiling set on regular reservations. The amendment allowed the state to carry forward unfilled vacancies from previous year. This came to be known as carry forward rule. So by this, like I already told you, 16(4)(b) actually empowers the state to breach the 15% ceiling. The main issue in the case was validity of the carry forward rule on the grounds that the rule contravened Articles 14, 16 and 335 of the Constitution of India. Although carry forward rule has been upheld or has been held as constitutionally valid in M. Nagaraj's case, but let us see this case. Majority held that carry forward rule as a general of which applicants belonging to the scheduled castes or scheduled tribes could get more than 50% of the vacancies to be held in a particular year is unconstitutional. Article 14 of the Constitution of India prohibits the state from denying to any person equality before the law, the equal protection of law. This means equality among equals. That's what Article 14 says. So this is the case law. And the next one is, this has been the first case of reservation, and this is known as State of Madras versus Champakan Dorai Rajan. And this has been held in the year 1951, and after this decision only, the centre brought the First Amendment Act 1951, and it inserted Article 15 Clause 4. So let us see. This is the first landmark case due to which reservation policy was enshrined under Constitution of India as a result of the Constitution First Amendment Act 1951. So now let us see the facts. The state of Madras had issued an order which was known as Communal Geo. By this, the state reserved the seats for students based on race, caste and religion in state medical and engineering college. The government contended that they passed the order for promoting social justice for all classes as required in Article 46. So in this case, reservation has been provided by the state of Madras on the basis of caste, community, religion in state and medical engineering college. And what is the issue raised in this case? Whether the government order violates the provision of Article 15 Clause 1 and Article 29 Clause 2 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 15 deals with prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of race, sex, religion or place of birth. And let us see what is the judgment of the Supreme Court. The 7 benches judge in Supreme Court held that communal geo violates the provision of Article 15 Clause 1 and Article 29 Clause 2 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 29 actually deals with minority Indian Constitution, because classified students get admission based on race, caste and religion, not on the merit base. So in this case, the Supreme Court has actually rejected struck down the the government order, and says that it violates Article 15 Clause 1 and 29 Clause 2 because it actually provides classification on the basis of race, caste and religion but not on the merit base. The court also ordered that the directive principle of state policy cannot override the provisions under Part 3 Fundamental Rights of the Constitution. So this has been the end of this session, and I hope you all have liked it. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Till we meet the next time, thank you and have a nice day.